All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get folks checked in here as I call your name. If you could just give me your full name and let me know who it is you're representing here today. Whether you're the owner, the applicant, a neighboring property owner, someone else, or some other organization, or representing some other organization. So I will start with, looks like we have CJ connected now. Yeah. All right. I'm just getting folks checked in. Looks like someone else is joining as well. So I'll start with Renee LaFlame.
Hi, I'm Renee LaFlamme. I am the next door property owner at 545 Slack Street.
Great. Welcome. All right. And we have someone under Oslin. Is that Jeff Oslin?
Yeah, I'm here. My name is Jeff Oslin. I'm the project manager on the job representing Bright Covers. I'm also joined by Joseph Coley. He's the director of operations here at Bright Covers as well.
Okay. And how do you spell Coley?
Coley is Koly.
Great. And you all have your camera activated, or can you activate your camera for me?
I think we can switch it here. Let's see. I think I can. Yeah.
Great. All right.
You're blurred out, Joe. All right.
Yeah. I'll just say, as it's fine as Joseph comes through, or if you want to change the background, you can. But as Joseph is speaking, if you all can just maybe turn the camera so that he's unblurred.
Yeah,
all right. Looks like we have someone under CJ. CJ, if you could unmute, give me your full name and tell me who it is you're representing here today.
So yeah, my name is Chris Johnson. I live at 1727 Highland Avenue, and I am kind of adjacent to the property at 543 Slack. So I'm across the street on the corner.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And Matthew Bedell.
Yeah, good morning. This is Matt Bedell. I'm the owner at 543 Slack. I apologize for any background noise. I'm in an airport lounge here.
That's okay. No problem. Just want to stay on mute when you're not speaking. That'll probably help. All right. On the applicant owner side, are we expecting anyone else to join us here today before we get started?
Nope.
No.
Okay. All right, great. Let's go ahead and do that. I think there is someone from the zoning division of the planning department that should be joining us. And I'll just let him in when he arrives. So I'm going to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing. And then we'll jump into it. So this is the June 26, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us is case number ZH20240062. That's 543. I'm sorry. That's 543 Slack Street. Purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, that'll include Mr. Oslin, Mr. Coley, and the owner, Mr. Bedell. That'll be all of your opportunity to tell me about the case, any background you think is important, what the project is, what the relief is that you're requesting, and of course, why you think I should grant that requested relief. All of you can speak, one of you can speak. It's really up to you how you want to orient the presentation. After that, the public will have an opportunity to speak. And that'll be the opportunity for Mr. Johnson and Ms. LaFlamme to provide any commentary if they would like. If we do have the zoning division here, I'll allow the zoning division to provide any additional commentary on top of their staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any spirit asked questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. But to the extent there's some defect or problem with the technology, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. And so I'm going to do that now collectively for everyone who knows that they would like to provide some comment today. So if that's you, if you could please take yourself off of mute. We'll need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right, now who's going to be taking the lead for us today on the presentation from the applicant?
We'll take the lead, if that's okay.
Sure, floor is yours.
All right, as discussed in the letter of intent, we're proposing a 500 square foot structure on the parcel. We're requesting a 12-foot, 10-inch variance to permit the structure on the lot. I know that the city stated that we may be able to do an accessory structure, but 3 feet from the home. But we're looking to get that matter out of the way because we need to cover that stairwell. We will still not be attached to the home. It will be a freestanding structure. We ask you to take into consideration the surrounding area. The customer or the homeowner would like to have privacy due to the apartments that are nearby. And then there are also other lots near the structure that have the roof covering the majority of that area as well. I will let Mr. Bedell discuss anything that he would like to bring up. But other than that, that's all we're requesting at this time.
Okay, and just to be clear, so you're requesting, you said a 500 square foot structure. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And what exactly is that? What is the structure? Is it?
It is
shed or a?
Yeah, it's the aluminum frame patio cover. It's a freestanding unit with polycarbonate panels, open walls, nothing enclosed. Yep.
Got it. So an open air roof structure, roof type structure to allow for some cover on the back patio.
That is correct.
And it is detached from the house?
It will be detached from the house. It'll be bumping up against it, but it will be detached from the home.
Got it. Okay. How big is that patio out back? Like what percentage of the patio will this cover?
It will cover a large portion. I don't know the percentage wise, but it will be majority of the 80%, probably 80%.
Okay. Will it be as wide as the patio is wide? So side to side?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right. And so this runs afoul of the rear yard setback requirements. Is that right?
That is correct.
And let's see. It looks like we do have the zoning plans examiner that reviewed and prepared a staff report on this. Trey, if I could get you sworn in really quickly, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I had to reload Zoom Workplace
Don't
onto this
worry
computer.
about it. Don't worry about it. So Trey, it looks like the relief that they're requesting here is approximately 13 feet from the minimum rear yard setback of 20 feet. Is that right? Could you tell us a little bit more about what exactly the relief that is necessary is for this project?
Sure. Originally, David, I was working with Mr. Oslin there and looking at it from an aerial standpoint as far as the relief that would be needed. And they would have needed about approximately 7 feet of relief from the rear setback. And I believe a little more than a foot or so of relief from the increased side yard requirement because the house will now exceed, about 70 feet in depth. So they needed like an extra foot or so in side yard, which you'll see in my adjudication. Basically, my staff report explains that. One thing that I realized subsequent to that, and my apologies to here, I wrote the staff report right before leaving for town to visit a sick relative. And
what did you discover?
Well, what I realized, something I discussed with you briefly before the hearing, David, is the house immediately at 545 Slack Street, so immediately adjacent to the east, not only has like a pergola structure on it, but it has an attached garage built into it. When you if you were to at street view, you would see it actually has a garage built in off of Elijah Alley. And since it goes all the way to the zero rear lot line, you would technically average that zero when you have a non-compliant rear yard, like a non-conforming rear yard previous to the zoning code, which this certainly appears to be for that 545 Slack Street. You would average that with the vacant lot at 539 for a rear yard setback of 10. You'd average the 0 and the 20 or 10. So in reality, they only need 3 feet of relief for their 7-foot setback instead of 10. They're proposing 7. They would only need 10. So they need the 3 feet of relief rather than the 13.
Okay.
Because that tweaks that causes you to average the rear setback when you have a non-compliant, non-conforming rear setback. And initially I hadn't driven around this part when I did it, just as something that occurred to me when usually you're just looking at an aerial, and it's kind of an unusual setup there on Elijah Alley that they have that, almost below level garage. It's below the ground floor. They just have it tucked in there, but technically it's an addition. So you would use a 0 average for 545 Slack and 20 feet for the adjacent lot to the west. So you'd need a total setback of 10 feet. And they're requesting 7.
So they want a rear yard setback there. They want this roof structure to extend from the house all the way until 7 feet from the rear property line. And you thought that was going to require a variance of 13 feet based on the averaging of the adjacent properties. But upon discovering that 545 actually has a 0 feet setback, that reduces the averaging requirement. And now you realize that they only need 3 feet of relief, but the 7 feet is not changing. The proposal is not changing. The design of this is not changing. Just the amount of relief that's required is what's changing here. Is that right?
That's 100% correct. It's just not obvious from aerial when you're doing an aerial overview. When I was writing my staff report, which I did around the surrounding neighborhood, but it's if you drop down and you're on street view, or you were to drive it, you'd see that it's actually a below grade, below ground floor addition that exists on that, and it does change the averaging.
Thanks, Trey. So, Mr. Oslin, first off, did you want to respond to that? I don't know if you were aware of that prior to the hearing, but did you want to respond to anything Trey said?
No, that's I was not aware of that. But that is good news. I suppose makes it a little bit more minimal as far as us going into that setback. So we're good with that.
Okay. And how tall is the roof structure going to be? And also how far will it extend over that fencing in the rear?
Hold on 1 second for me.
But the thing is, it's not gonna, the rear, it's okay, it's side to side.
Yeah. And so the height we have here in our notes and what is proposed will be a height roughly 12 feet, 8 inches at its highest point, and then it's going to slope down.
And how tall is the fence?
The fence there, I believe Mr. Bedell might be able to answer that, but I assume it's 6 feet.
It's a 6-foot fence, but depending on the wall, it's in different spots, but the wall between my patio and Renee's patio is, I think, a foot or so tall, and it's on top of that. So, the fence itself is only 6 feet though.
Got
it. And this wouldn't extend over any of the fence.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the applicant or the owner at this time you'd like to say about the project?
Maybe just something for me. Hard for me maybe to follow all the setback, not my wheelhouse here, but I don't know how the averaging, et cetera, works in that setup. But I know that we're at 543. I consolidated lot 541 with 543 a few years ago, and there's a garage there, but it's in closer than even the existing house. So I don't know if that helps or plays into the whole averaging of setbacks, et cetera, and it may not be as visible from some plans that exist.
No, I think the two lots that are being averaged here to determine the setback is 545, which I believe is Miss LaFlamme's, and the vacant lot that is next to the garage.
Okay,
So that vacant lot is because there's no structure on there, defaults to the base zoning requirements, which is 20 feet rear yard setback. Ms. LaFlamme's, because of the garage that extends all the way to the rear property line, is a 0. So in between 20 and 0 is 10, obviously, and so 10 is what the actual rear yard setback standards are here.
Okay, that helps understand.
If yours is going to extend to 7, then it encroaches 3 feet into that rear yard setback, and so that's the relief that is necessary here to complete the project.
Okay, thanks for explaining that.
Sure, no problem. Okay, I think we'll move on to public comments. Start with Ms. LaFlamme. LaFlamme, anything you'd like to add to the conversation?
I'll start with saying that I am in favor of their permit being approved for this project. I don't think it's going to have any impact on my property whatsoever. And my patio is adjacent to theirs. We have a fence in between, and I can see from windows in my home, their back patio and my back patio, and I have no objection to any aspect of this project.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for providing that testimony. Mr. Johnson, is there anything you'd like to add to the conversation here?
Actually, I don't think there's anything I can add. Everything's been said. Miss LaFlamme has kind of replicated my thoughts here. I can't see the backyard. So, I have no objections at all. I'm here just as support because obviously this is one of those things that I think I pointed out in my email to you. The continued improvements, not only in Mr. Bedell's house, but others, including Ms. LaFlamme's. Obviously they're adding value to the neighborhood, and I like to see those moving forward. And in the city's case, at some point, additional property taxes will be involved as well. So all in support of this.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for being here, and thank you again for your email.
No problem, my pleasure.
Okay. Trey, anything else you wanted to add?
Just to echo what Ms. LaFlamme pointed out, that, to her, there are no adverse effects and she's in support of it. I just wanted to reiterate that this is the only thing I can really add is there's kind of unique topography here in that the garage on the subject property is located at a higher level, and the ground floor is located at a higher level than this patio. You can see a couple of the images that I included in the staff report and that are included in the application, and you can see that there's a wood retaining wall that helps kind of support the property between the original house, which is constructed over 100 years ago, and the garage there. So while they say that this is 12 feet in height at the max, where it's attached, where it's within 1 foot of the house, making it therefore an addition rather than accessory structure. What I'm getting is that basically the massing of this thing is going to be set down in, because it's down at a lower level. You're basically walking out the basement door, lower level door, to access the patio. And therefore, even though this is 12 feet in height, basically by the time you get to the back of this, as it tapers down, you'll be at about grade. Or close, not much above grade. So I don't think it's going to be very visible for anybody, even other neighbors around there. It's pretty modest, especially given that it's sunken down in at that lower level.
Okay, great. Thanks, Trey. Appreciate your testimony and your work on the staff report here. I'll turn it back over to the applicants or the owners to say anything in closing or otherwise before we adjourn. If the Oslin group is they're muted. Okay.
Yeah, we're here. We appreciate your time. I think we're good. I think everything that's been said is perfect. As far as closing, we'd just like to thank you for your time and look forward to hearing back from you as far as the decision.
Bedell?
I think I'm good as well. Just, thank you, everybody. Definitely Chris and Renee for taking the time out and supporting me on this as well. If I need additional support from neighbors, I'm sure I can get it as well. I appreciate Trey looking back at things and realizing maybe the uniqueness of the property It's a good point you made at the end there that technically from the two lots I consolidated the one to the other, it's a 4-foot drop already right there. So it already sinks down as you go from lot to lot. So again, yeah, just appreciate the consideration here and hopefully get a favorable outcome to move forward with the project.
Sure. Okay. Great. Well, let's leave it at that. I've had a chance to review the application materials, the staff report, and consider the updates today from Trey. Based on all of that, and based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I am going to approve the project. I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this particular application. And so I am going to approve it. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that takes about a couple weeks. I think that's a realistic estimate based on the current queue of cases that I have right now. As soon as I finish that decision, I put into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all will have a copy of that really just moments after it's complete. Mr. Oslin, Coley, and John and Bedell. Once you have that written decision, Trey can approve the permitting on his end for the zoning. And so hopefully that's the only thing that's left for you guys, and you can move forward after at that point. Any questions about any of that?
No, thank you, Mr. Sturkey.
Well, thank
Okay.
you.
Great.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Look for an email from me within the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, good luck on the project, Mr. Bedell. Have a safe flight. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. And
Thank you.
we are